Now, the 999, this vehicle Henry Ford built with the purpose of beating every other race car out there. He wanted this vehicle to be the fastest race car that existed. And so he built the 999, and everyone was too afraid to drive it, right? Sitting next to Matt Anderson. Matt is such a wealth of knowledge. Tell me more about this car and what made people so afraid.
Yeah, 999 is Henry Ford's second race car, and yeah, he was scared to drive this, partly because it's so primitive. You look at it there, certainly no seatbelts, but there's not even a steering wheel. There's a bar there that you'd move to steer. There's no gearbox. The flywheel's right there between your legs as you're driving, so pretty dangerous. He actually did drive a copy of this car, the Arrow, out on Lake St. Clair in January of 1904 when it was frozen, and went for a land speed record. He went more than 92 miles an hour in that car, and that at that time was a world land speed record.
Wow. This particular car, he was afraid to drive it. Everyone else was afraid to drive it. So you were saying, had to hire a bicycle racer, somebody who was just an adrenaline junkie who was willing to take the risk, and he went on to race this baby and smoke the competition.
Yeah, it was a guy named Barney Oldfield who was a colorful character. He used to chomp on cigars in races to keep his teeth from rattling.
Oh, well, hey, that's actually pretty inventive. Next to that vehicle, 1906 Locomobile Old 16. Another race car, looks very different from the 999.
Yeah, this is a great car. This is the first American car to win the Vanderbilt race, which was a road race held on Long Island in New York, really the first great race in the United States. So it kind of proved that American cars were every bit as good as the European counterparts.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because you can actually bring a friend, it looks like, on this race.
Yeah, you'd have a riding mechanic, or mechanician they would call him then, somebody there to help drive the car and then perform some maintenance as you're driving.
And then just across the aisle here, this is the vehicle I would be scared to death to drive. It says it's the Goldenrod. What in the world is this thing?
Yeah, this is the strangest looking car in the whole museum, but this is Goldenrod, which was a land speed racing car, which set a record of 409 miles an hour on the Bonneville Salt Flats in 1965.
Oh my gosh, that doesn't even look like something somebody would be able to turn around curves.
Yeah, no, you just drive in a straight line in that. That's the only way to do it. And it's got not one, not two, but 4 engines under the hood, if you can believe that.
Wow, and they had to use parachutes to help it stop.
Right, there'd be a parachute that would deploy in the back. And, you know, when you're going 409 miles an hour, it takes you a couple of miles to slow back down and stop safely, too. So quite a project.
Quite a project. And this exhibit opens at 9 a.m. It's open every day of the week.
Yeah, we're open from 9:30 to 5, 7 days a week. And we've got special programming, special tours given throughout the day, so a lot of great activities.
And this one right here, the 1951 Beatty Belly Tank Lakester, is one of the engines exposed that you'll find on a program that Matt has put together. Some of his favorites, some of the highlights, some of the most unique vehicles throughout automotive history that you can follow this guide and do a little search, a little scavenger hunt, if you will, to find out more about some of these unique vehicles like this Land Speed Racer behind me. Really, really neat. I feel like I'm learning so much, and I know you will too. I'll toss it back to you.
Yeah, I was
so
just
cool
thinking
to look
that.
at it, to find out the backstory behind all of
So
this.
educational. You don't have to be a car enthusiast, right? Look at Jen. She's been converted now.
Yeah,
She's into
she's a pro.
it.
She's an expert. Yeah.